Hello, everybody. Welcome to another session of Kitabe Club Instagram Live. This is a big day for us. We are hosting Samir Soni Sir for his recently released book, My Experiments with Silence. And, the beauty of this book is all about you, me, and everybody in the entire universe. This book makes you feel relatable. Before we our guest joins in, we would like to introduce our guest, who needs no introduction, by the way. But this being a customary thing, let me introduce Sir. He is an actor, director. I would say he is a mental health advocate and author now, and he has been very vocal about all the things I have mentioned. So, without any further delay, I would like to add my guest, and yes, he'll be here any minute. Okay. Hello, sir. Good evening.
Hey Shweta, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you well.
Okay. What's up? How are you
How
doing?
I am good. How are you?
I'm okay. Can you hear me clearly and see me clearly? Is that good? Or
No, this is perfect. This is perfect.
God, there's so many messages coming up. Can I stop these messages somewhere somehow? Or okay, never mind. I guess hello, hi. Uh,
Oh, I
Hi
mean, this is
Mayank. Hi Manirul. Hi Durnaz. Uh, Whatever. Hi guys.
this is bound to happen
Hi
because the moment.
Asta. I'm waiting for you to read the book. Hi,
Yes.
Nurza. Hi, Faraz. Priya. Wow, lovely. Nice to see you join in. And thank you for. I hope you started reading or you will start soon. Hi, Shivani. Hey, Jaisal. Shoaib. Ansha Jain. Shafi. Sakshi. Hey. Okay, this will go on. Go on.
I know because the moment we posted about a live with you, we were, we were receiving the same kind of messages. So I
I
thought the
can't hear
best
you.
thing
Audio is not that clear.
is
Uh,
it, Aman?
yeah. Can you just speak a little louder? Or maybe I'm hard of hearing. I don't know. So
No,
excited
no,
to
no,
hear.
no. I'll be more
Priya,
louder. I'll
Priya,
be
you
louder for
flatter me
sure.
now. I can't. I wonder if I live up to expectations. So, okay.
No, definitely, sir.
Did
So,
you read it, Shweta? Did you read the book?
100%, sir. 100%. I am done with the book, and you will see a lot of markings I have made in the book, and there are a couple of
Oh my God.
things which I mean, I would do a very strategic way of asking you in a line by line manner. But because we came to the book, there is a page specifically, page number 110, where on 20th July you talk about a restless day for you. And after that page, that is page 1111, and that is 24th July, you specifically talk about a gloomy gray, another dull day. I mean, this is something alarming where I see that there's a day in your diary which is going good, and and I expect that okay, now this is going to be the day the next
They
time
can't
when
hear
I
you
go to
clearly. I'm sorry, Shweta. I'm interrupting you.
okay,
Um,
is it?
I just read a message which said we can't hear you clearly. So, is it your speaker or whatever?
I mean,
Uh,
I
yeah.
okay,
Can you guys
this is
hear?
yeah.
Can you guys hear us clearly? Somebody say yes, no, thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever. Shake somebody. Rashmi, can you hear us clearly?
Yes.
Pooja, hi. Okay. Yeah, the voice is not clear. That's Asta saying that.
Okay.
So
Okay.
are you using a mic? Then don't use it. Just use the phone mic. That
I
produce.
am. I'm just using the headphones because if I don't use it, then there is, echoing in the voice. I don't know what is the problem. But is it better now? Or if you give me a second, I'll
Yes,
restart this.
Samir,
Is
you are
this okay?
clear. Hi, you Samir bhai. Hey,
Yeah.
Shanu. Hi. Okay.
Okay.
A question to man. Oh God, this is going too fast. All right, let's just keep talking. Yeah. So you're saying that. What were you saying? What were
That
you talking about?
that since this is a page or this is some parts from your diary, there is a day which is a
Hmm.
good day, and suddenly there is a bad day, or there is a bad day followed by a good day, and the pattern continues. And this
Right.
makes me feel like this is like me. Why your diary makes me feel like this is me?
Well, I think anything. Firstly, this what you're reading is not. It's straight from the heart. It's not been
Mm,
altered at all. I've actually taken sections from my diary and put it in. So it wasn't written with the perspective of publishing it and for somebody else.
mm,
If that was the case, I probably would have guarded my emotions a little bit and written something, safer, more politically correct, or whatever. But I did. So this was just like it was an outpour. I was just kind of spending time with myself. And at that point, I didn't think I was going to publish it at all. There was no thoughts of that. It was just therapy for me. It was like catharsis. And I wrote that and I put it away. Was I came to some sort of terms with myself and how I was and what I was. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Then in between, people did approach me to write, and they wanted the typical memoirs they would have from a person from the industry. My first film and the second film, and this happened, that happened, and I wasn't really keen on that because I didn't really think I had much to say. Um, so I waited, but until recently when COVID hit, and I just saw around everyone, a lot of people struggling with anxiety, a lot of people struggling with depression, and yeah, and then suddenly I started looking around, I'm like, oh my God, and then as luck would have it, I was approached for the book, and I said, look, I have something which I think is very relatable because it's totally unadulterated. This is what everybody feels in and I actually saw a place for the book because what you see nowadays in books is always the end result. Like the book will say 7 steps to success, 10 ways of doing this or achieving this. And it sounds very simple when you read it, right? But it isn't. Nobody talks about the struggle they had to go through to reach that level, right? And that to me was important because certain things are being sold to you, saying, okay, you do this, you will have this. But nobody tells you exactly. It's like saying, the view in Mount Everest is this. And it's very simple. You take this path and this path and this path, but nobody tells you how difficult it's going to be. And I wanted to talk about that. Because I think there are a lot of people in this world, at least, yeah, definitely in the world, who go through these things. And everybody kind of keeps it to themselves, where I kind of make a distinction between an introvert and an extrovert, right? A lot of introverts would tend to keep things to themselves and they feel there's something wrong with them because they can't relate to most people. I mean, I feel like an outsider wherever I go. So no matter where I go, I'm an outsider. That happens. And I had struggled also. I mean, I've had issues with anxiety and stuff. And I just got tired. I said, it's about time someone opened their mouth and, said something about it. We've reached a point in society that, at the end of the day, the man or the woman can come stressed out and tired and have a couple of drinks. And that's totally acceptable. That is normal. But God forbid, if you were to seek professional help, then there is something wrong with you,
yes.
which I just can't understand. So you can drink half a bottle of whatever you choose to drink and numb your pain and numb everything, and you're okay. In fact, we celebrate that. That's called celebration, isn't it? When
Yes.
we party, what are you doing? Celebrating. Essentially, you're numbing yourself in some ways, right? And that is acceptable. But if you were to say that, oh, I was going to see a counselor or a psychologist or psychiatrist, they'd be, oh, what's wrong with you? I can't get it. And on the contrary, I think this this world, this society makes you feel that you're not normal if you're not out there doing things and stuff. So I kind of raise the point that it's an extroverted world, which is very difficult for an introvert to exist. And more often than not, most introverts think there's something wrong with them, and they try their level best to fit in. All the images that are thrown to you, even if we go on Instagram, there'll be people posing in front of a fancy car, fancy this, fancy that, and compelling you that if you didn't do that, there is something wrong with you. And I just think, I agree. So I just got fed up, and I thought timing was just perfect. I said it's about time to talk about this, and so here it is. Nothing more, nothing less.
Right,
I don't know if I
Rohan.
answered your
So,
question. I just rambled for
no,
some
no, it
time.
is. You answered two of my question because being an introvert, I wanted to ask you what made you publish, your diary or reveal secrets from, or share stories from your
There is,
diary.
there is, there is no secret. Everybody feels that, right? You all feel rejection. Everybody wants acceptance. You want to be happy. You want things to go the way you want them to go. They don't go. Everybody deals with it. Just that I've just written it, and I felt comfortable because I think I've reached in that stage in my life that I'm pretty comfortable in no one's skin. Okay, it is what it is. I don't have to put on a facade. Not often. Sometimes I can't help it, you know but yeah, so I thought we were ready for it. I think this pandemic had something major to do with it. I lost a dear friend who died, and and he was actually suffering from mental health. So yeah, so that was a little disturbing for me. So I thought I had to get this out there. And then the idea was how to get it in a book form so that it doesn't depress people more. So I wrote some anecdotes from my childhood and stuff. And yeah, so I think it's pandemic had a big role to play in me deciding that this needs to be out. So yeah.
Yes. I mean, because a diary is something which is a well-guarded secret, and when you publish this, I was reading it and I realized first 50 pages, I feel this is about me, this is about my story. And the up until the time you didn't go onto the stage to receive the best debutante award, it was my story because I have never been in that stage. But that particular chapter, it just made me think in all directions. I will, because for those who are still taking out time to read the book, I will just tell you briefly what happened. On the stage, Sir is on the stage, and he's receiving the award, and no one claps. And he is, and he is going, and by the time he just asks his brother why nobody is clapping, and he says,
uh, your voice just went. Yeah, okay.
okay, again, are you losing
No,
me?
it's okay. That's okay.
I don't know what is happening today. Yeah.
That's okay. Yeah,
So, in that sense, there is neutrality in that chapter where somebody would have just fought with a brother, and there is nothing. How, sir?
what you mean, how we did not fight over it?
Yeah, I mean, how did you present in such a neutral manner? There would have to be some sort of emotion wherein I
Look,
don't know.
and
Yeah.
okay, to those people who don't know what she's referring to, I'll share, and you'll see some anecdotes like this in the book, and I'm glad you picked it up. It's kind of funny moment in my life. Um, since childhood, like I mentioned, I always dreamt of receiving an award and giving an acceptance speech. I used to practice that in front of the mirror. So when I did my first show and this award ceremony or whatever, and I was called upon, so I had my speech ready that I'm going to say this, and I'm wearing my best suit and everything. And there's an auditorium of like maybe 600 people, perhaps. So I'm very excited. I've just come from US. Within the first couple of years, I'm getting an award, so I'm very excited. My family is there to cheer and clap for me. So I thought. So one by one, they announce the cast and people, and then my name comes, and I get up and I go on stage. And while I'm going up, there's not a single person clapping. There's pin drop silence. And I'm like, oh my God, what happened? So now my heart is beating very fast, like, oh Lord, now what? And so I get on stage, and I don't know, I mean, you have all these expectations in your mind, right? When this is going to happen and this is going to happen, and how you will be in the glory, and the sunlight is going to be on you, and everything's going to be super. Here's me in my first award on stage, facing 600 people with the pin drop silence. And I'm like, oh my God, what do I say? Then I started to speak, literally stumble through my words, saying, I'm very grateful to so and so and so and so. And then there's somebody I think in the balcony screams out, "Hey, Hindi mein bolo, hey, Hindi mein bolo." I had just come from America. So all that accent went so out of the window. And I said, please, the show's going to come. Please watch that rant. So it was hilarious, really. I mean, it was yeah, it was just, and then my brother's reaction, and I like after the event is over, I spoke to my family. I said, why didn't you guys clap? So my brother responds, यार इतना silence हो गया था, मुझे डर लग रहा था. If I say something, मुझे मार पड़ने वाली है. So I've mentioned that story in the book, and yeah, I mean, it was hysterical. I mean, compared to what my expectations were, and the response I got was just so hilarious that here is a guy thinking this is my moment of glory, and someone like boos the hell out of you, and your own family's quiet, saying, "Oh my God, ab kya kare?" So, yeah, I can't get angry with them for that. No, it's too funny.
And that is it, And connecting with this, there is this chapter. My final. This is its moment. Yeah, you somehow have the capacity to bring out something very funny in moment where we would be like, okay, this is going to get something serious. This is where we switch see tears, and this would be like entirely your perspective is different. How do we get this perspective in life? How can we, respond the same way?
I mean, look, uh, you have to be honest with yourself, right? In terms of things and to me is that whether you want to learn your lesson or not, life will teach you anyway, right? So if it happens once, then you say, okay, I need to do this. If it happens twice, it happens third time, you say, okay, something is wrong. Something is awfully wrong. So you have a very, especially in a business like this, when there are ups and downs are so tremendous, and overnight you can be big and next you be forgotten and stuff like that. It teaches you to be philosophical. It teaches you to just kind of step back, and because nothing's in your hand, really. I mean, the things that I thought, would be the best thing that'll ever happen to me did nothing for me. And things I thought, oh God, why am I doing this, were all overnight the biggest things. So it kind of, humility is something I've always liked in people. That's what I think my father was like that. So being humble is very important to me. And then being honest and philosophical about it, because and I'm older and wiser, let's put it this way. When you're young, you think you can just do it all. You say, yeah, man, watch me do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. And then you realize life's not like that. I mean, so, yeah, I mean, it's something the life teaches you, and then you get older and wiser, and then you learn to laugh at yourself and say, you think you're a big star, don't you? You think, and then it's also because as a child, you might think when you grow up and this is going to happen. And when that moment comes, it's like, you've been dreaming of climbing Mount Everest forever, right? And finally, you spend your entire life and you do climb Mount Everest. Once you get to the top, you just don't like the view. So this is not what I thought it was going to be. So now you spend your entire life going for that, and now suddenly it's like, oh, okay, something's wrong. So you learn to be philosophical. I personally believe that life teaches you. The biggest teacher is life. Whether you like it or not, whether you want to or not, you will learn the lesson. And unless you learn that lesson, it's going to keep coming back to you. If there is any shortcoming or any kind of perspective you have, it's unless and until you deal with it, whether it's a relationship, for example, you will keep attracting the same kind of people, the same situations. And it just goes on unless and until you learn your lesson and realize there's more to it. So I firmly believe in God, whatever religion you want to call, I don't care. But I believe you have to. He will teach you a lesson. I believe that. So I'm quick to, when things are going on, to think, okay, am I being taught a lesson here? Right? Is the lesson that you're on the wrong path, or is the lesson that you're not trying hard enough? So yeah, I mean, I don't know if I answered your question.
No,
I
no,
don't
no,
know.
but that's perfect. That's a fabulous takeaway. I am, mentally making
In
notes
fact,
now.
you mentioned this. Okay, I don't need to read this. I remember this is one of the poems that because a lot of people are not sure what the book is about. Some are thinking it's going to be memoirs and some gossip and stuff. No gossip, sorry guys. You'll be bored out of your mind if you think that. We were talking about life teaching you a lesson. And I think towards the end, I have this poem, which is probably one of my favorite ones, which kind of put things in perspective, which is round and round and round I go through the same places I've been before, the same highs, the same lows, the same uncertainties, the same unsures. Will I, won't I, can I, can't I? How many times the same fears must face I? And will there be an end? Will there be an end? Will there be an end to this? Will there be end to this dreary dark night in search of that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, round and round and round I go. So I feel we are always looking at that one thing that's going to give us happiness. And you essentially are just going in circles, in circles. Unless you learn your lesson, you're just going to keep going in circles. That's what life has been to me. It's been a big learning lesson. So I thought I would share that.
It's a beautiful thing, what you said. And, we all say we all want a very steady life, a very smooth life, without any problems, without any ups and downs. But while going through your book, it made me realize that everything what you face, like you said, is going to add up value or make you better. It is going to be either ways. It is needed for you. That's why it's coming up to you. That's why it's being sent to you.
Oh, yeah, that's one way of looking at it. I think, I mean, it's really what you believe in. It boils down to that. It's what you believe in, what you take away from life. I honestly, people say, if you were to give one tip to someone, what would you give? I can't, because I haven't lived your life. I don't know what it means to be you. I don't know what it means to see the world the way you see the world. I don't know what it means to have the experiences that you've had. So I can't tell you anything. I can share my experience. I mean, the classic example is, it's like, and that's why it bothers me when a lot of people give you these tips, you know, key to happiness is good health, good this, good that, good this, good this. It's like, yeah, it's just like imagining you're balancing 5, 6 plates or saucers and say, oh, that's all you need to do. I mean, it's not possible. It's not easy. And to me, it is like, you've heard that story about the elephant and the blind men. There were like 6, 7 blind men who are trying to describe an elephant. So one runs
Yeah,
into
yeah,
his tail and say, "Oh, he's like a rope." One looks at the trunk and says, "Oh, it's like a snake or something." One hits his body, says it's like a wall. To me, that's what life is. You can only describe life in terms of your limited perspective, what you have experienced and who you are. So it is essentially your genetics and what you've been born as in, with the value system you're given and the experiences you have. So if I'm climbing, I touch the tail of an elephant. What I need to know is how to climb up, right? But if there's a guy who's pushing against his tummy or his stomach and it's a wall for him, and I say, oh, it's very simple. You just got to pull up. And he said, pull what up? Because his experience is extremely different from my experience. So how can I tell from my experience what you want to do? Because I don't know what situation you're in. I don't know what you're going through. I don't know how you're programmed in your mind, right? So, like, that's so to me, it's like this is me sharing what I have experienced. Some will relate to it and say, yeah, but then you make your own path. You figure out what your own journey is. You define what it means to be happy. One thing is for sure, I don't buy.
that's audio.
Oh my god, my dogs,
Yeah.
my dog's in pain. Sorry. So yeah, happiness, success. This is one thing I have totally against, that somehow success seems to be more money, more fame, fancy cars, fancy houses. And my question is, who decided that? Who came up with that definition? I want to meet that guy. I'm sure the guy who has everything, all of these things, came up with that conclusion or that definition. I mean, let's be objective. What's that got to do with success? Why do we define success like that? I mean, the finest example that I keep giving, Michael Jackson, greatest superstar ever or pop star. Would you want to be in his shoes? He died at the age of 50, had all these ailments, had these cases, lived a very disturbed life, but he's called successful. Is he successful? Then surely we are missing out something. So yeah, the point is to raise that question, what exactly is it? And to me, I think it's subjective, depends on a person to person. But one generalization saying, oh, if you are this, you are successful, and that's what you aspire to do. And that's what your parents and teachers tell you to do. Come first, best college admission, best job, work for an MNC, get a house here. It's like, what's that got to do with anything, really? I mean, I understand the basic needs and essential needs of a human being, but really, I mean, how far are we willing to go? I mean, so someone's got to question this because I'm getting tired of, I mean, 100 or 70 years back, the role models were Mother Teresa and Mahatma Gandhi and Nelson Mandela and all these people. And now our role model is Steve Jobs. I mean, really, is that? I mean, there's a problem somewhere. Something's gone wrong somewhere in the society while going there. Although I don't say, okay, if you admire the person, sure, good, good. But you cannot generalize this for everyone and judge everyone on that parameter because you're destroying lives. You're telling people who are probably don't have that much of money or success or fame, telling them there's something wrong with you or you're not good enough. And I hate that. I don't like that. I mean, no one should be telling anyone you're not good enough. So, and that you can't help it because you live in a society which is forcing these things onto you. They're making these things desirable and stuff. So if you don't have it, you think there's something wrong. So yeah, that's a little battle. I'm hoping this book leads to a much larger discussion about what it means to be successful, what it means. Let's question, let's teach people something different, that having all these material things cannot be the only way. On the other hand, abandoning everything and being a spiritual person cannot also be the only way. You have to figure out for each person, where do you fit in, what works for you. So that's my speech.
Oh, no. It is, it is, whatever you are saying, sir, is apart from hosting this live, it is making me think in my mind that, okay, this has happened. I could have thought this way. Why am I judging myself on some parallel lines? Whatever you're making is making me think about, okay, I need to think what are my goals? What would be success for me? So it is 100% making change. And
The, the important thing is to, like I said, the important thing to realize is that the dream that you're trying to live, is that really your dream, or is that something that society sold to you when you were a kid? Right? That's one big question I have. Is it you're working on that preset value system that was passed on to you from an earlier generation? Or is that really what you wanted? Had your parents not put the pressure, or something else put the pressure on you to be the best, to come first, would you still choose the life you chose?
I
Or would it be
myself
different?
made a transition. Yeah, I myself made a transition, a big transition.
So there you go. I mean, we have to reevaluate. And I think, yeah, I mean, but if you're happy, okay, God bless you. I'm not, okay. Bottom line is, if you're happy living in a fool's paradise, no problem. Just be happy. But yeah, but if your brain does take you to these places, please, what Sayyid is saying, what Sayyid, please, what? Kya karu yaar? Okay. Anyone else? Okay, people are joining, all right?
Yeah. So there is one question. I'm going to read this question because I want to make sure that everything comes perfectly in this question. So, like
Hmm.
other mortal humans, you also said that you focus on your shortcomings to improvise. How can we identify shortcomings as a normal persons? Since usually people try to brush their concerns under the carpet as they do not want the difficulty of self introspection. I mean, self introspection is something it would scare me off.
I mean, if you want to fix something, assuming it's broken,
Yes,
that's a
yes.
big assumption, right? It need not be broken. You might be believing it's broken, right? But assume it is broken and you want to fix it. You got to look at it. You have to address it. There's no running away. You can't lie to yourself. You can only lie to yourself only that long. That's what I believe. I mean, it's very simple. I think, did Einstein say that, or one of them said that, if you're looking at something through a microscope, you have to make sure at least the microscope functions well, right? If your microscope or the glasses you're wearing is all twisted and stuff, you're not going to see quite well, or at least you will not see what's out there. Likewise, if you feel there is something in you that needs to be fixed, first you got to figure out, why do I think it needs to be fixed? Is it just because everybody else around me is different? There's no harm in being different. There's nothing wrong to be different. In fact, it's fantastic. It's unique. You're unique, right? So first you got to examine that. But if you do come up with, okay, look, this is something I need to fix about myself because I have a tendency to be this or behave a certain way, then you have to be honest to yourself. You can lie to everyone, but in the end, you sleep with yourself. And you know when you're bullshitting. I mean, there is no other. I mean, as personally, I don't think there's any other way. You've got to be honest to yourself. That's the only way. Otherwise, you can spend your entire life looking the other way around. No, no, it's okay. So, but yeah.
True, very true. There is this one question in my mind that when I look through your book, this is the cover page, and at the backside, the blurb and all, there is a very small picture. Why? And usually when books like this come out, we see the author's image all over the book, and I don't see that, and it intrigues me.
Um, Quite honestly, I've gone back and forth in this quite a few times because everyone has a different thing to say. A lot of people, including my wife, said that, look, it's your book, you're writing, it's your first book, your face needs to be there. But I thought that my face, on one hand, might attract a few people who like me or something, but also will, dispel other people or repel other people who don't know me. Who's this guy anyway? He's another filmy guy who's trying to brag about what he's done. So I didn't want the book to suffer because of my face, right? I mean, not everyone's going to like me, and not everyone surely knows me, right? So I wanted the book to be judged for what it was, regardless whether you know me or not. And so it didn't. So I was more concerned about, as opposed to people buying the book because of me, I was more scared of people not buying the books because of me. Because you will say, hey, another filmy guy's written some nonsense about his life and this and that. And there are quite a few, I mean, not nonsense, but quite a few books. So then we worked, and my dear friend Rashmi, who has designed the cover, if you can see it. Yeah, right. So she was a big help for me, and we were going back and forth, and I was like, should be feel like that. And she was kind of sending images to me. And then when I saw this little, autumn tree and with a little boy with his hands in his pocket with his back towards the reader, that was just so endearing, because that, I think, is how most introverts feel, right? You're kind of hiding. You're living in the hiding, and you're like a little boy who's hiding or a little girl who's hiding. So I thought it was perfect for what the book was saying. And that's why I chose not to have my face. And, yeah, I mean, it was like that was primarily the reason that this was more apt, you know. Maybe second book I'll put my face on it. I don't know.
I would assure you that there are so many people who are going to buy it because it's your face is onto it.
No, but
But
it's a pretty cover. Forget everything else.
it's a
Come on, man.
beautiful
This is a
cover.
lovely. I'm in
It's a
love with
beautiful
this
cover.
cover. I mean, no way in hell would I put my face instead of this. I mean, you know, we tried it. We tried several covers with me, posing and stuff. And oh God, no, cannot do that. So, and this cover, I was just so deeply in love with. I was just deeply in
It's a
love with this,
beautiful cover.
and it's also, I think there's sort of another poem that kind of let me see if I can find it. I'll have to look through it. Which kind of addresses, which is one of my favorite poems, which says the little boy.
I have read it.
If you have it, what page is on that on? Shows how
It's
many
in the
times I've.
initial.
Okay, this I'm going to recite for the few people who are watching us. This is as honest as I could have been, and this is the reason why you see the cover the way it is. The title, for those who don't know, this is what the book looks like. It's a bunch of diary entries with lines drawn in like a little diary. It's like a pocket book. You can finish it on one flight like that. So this poem is called The Little Boy. And it says, I'm a liar, I'm a cheat. I'm nothing like what you meet. I'm whatever you're not. If you're yin, then I'm yang. Yes, I'm good at this and I'm good at that. But that's not where the real me is at. I have a void I'm trying to fill. I've spent my entire life and I've come up with nil. A few kind words, acceptance, and respect, so the little boy can finally rest and doesn't need me to protect. So that's the little boy here. That's the little boy.
It's a beautiful poem, and your book is full of those poems which talks about your journey, what are you feeling like, and it's a very
Also, there
beautiful
was
poem.
another aspect that a lot of people with the editors and stuff, with the editor, we went back and forth, and everybody said, look, there's not enough context to what you've written. We don't know what's really going on, what happened. It's very ambiguous. And that was intentionally done because I didn't want people to, when you read, I didn't want you to think about me. I didn't want you to think, Acha, Samir went through this. Samir, this happened to Samir. It's not about me. It wanted to, like what you said, that you read it and said, damn, I felt like this. The other day I was just sitting and thinking this. So if I gave you too much of context about my life, because I don't even think there are any names in the book mentioned or any incident, it's a reaction to the incident. So the incident is, just there. It doesn't really matter what the incident is. It could be happening to anyone, but it's the effect, how you react to it. So yeah, that's why it's been done that way.
It serves the purpose. It is beautiful cover. It is very soothing. It's a very soothing cover. It's something which I would like to read, on a repeat basis. It is after you read it once, you want to come back to the book to make your notes again, to go through it, and it does help me out because initially I honestly felt that it is something. Why are you writing about me? So
I've been
that is
stalking you. I've been stalking you.
in my mind it is okay, but otherwise it was my thought. Honestly, it was my thought that it is a book about me. It is something what I felt the other day. It does the purpose. I would certainly recommend the hardback of this book particularly to everybody who thinks that it is okay to ignore what you're going through. So to think about something, this is one line which registered in my mind from your book that आप जब ये सोचते हो कि फ्यूचर अच्छा होएगा, आप प्रेजेंट को जी नहीं रहे होते हो, आप वो चीज में प्रेजेंट को सिर्फ धक्का मार रहे हैं आगे, आप फ्यूचर के लिए सिर्फ राह देख रहे हो, बट प्रेजेंट की जो तकलीफें हैं उनको जी रहे, एंड इट वाज अमेजिंग देयर.
I think it's the habit of the brain. When the present is not bearable, you will either go in past or go in future. The brain will keep addressing either saying, Acha, just because the present is not exactly how you hoped and wanted, it'll either go back, Acha, kal ye hua, usne ye kaha tha, I felt like this, or tomorrow I'm gonna happen. Anything and everything to keep you from your present because the brain can't deal with that. So that is something you learn. You have to learn, and those are the moments that I also cherish. That writing. So, and also this book is available on, a lot of people have been writing to me saying that overseas it's not available, but it's available as an ebook, as a Kindle. On Kindle, it's available even in India on Kindle. And it's like $150 or $180. It's not a really big one. And yeah, get it, guys. I think it's important. Uh, the issue is important more than me. So get it, and then if you don't like it, I'll refund the money.
Okay. I'm sure everybody is going to be using it as a diary of their own to understand and relate to what they have gone through. And this has been a wonderful experience talking to you. And because I just read the book since it just came out 3 days back, and I read it, and I spoke to you, there are so many mental notes I have been making, and I've taken so much of your time.
No, no, no,
And
no, no. I'm doing nothing else right now for last few weeks but the book because I don't want the book to suffer because of me, because I'm a lazy guy. So otherwise I'll tend to, okay, I've done it now, its own destiny, and we'll see. I can be very lazy. So now I want to, because I think it's important. I think it might change a few lives. It might save a few lives, and that is important. I think it's one of those books. It's one of those books when you read like long time back and kind of stays with you.
yeah, it does.
I,
It does.
I, I I have a few books that when you read Alchemist for the first time, kind of it stays. So I'm not comparing it to Alchemist. No way, not even close. But there will be a line here or there which will stay with you
It
for a
does.
long time.
It does. It does stays, and it is a wonderful book. I would certainly recommend having a hard copy. Obviously, ebook is there. Why hard copy? Because you yourself can write out what you are feeling at that particular paragraph. So I certainly recommend a hard copy, but yes, ebook is available.
Thank you so much, Veda. I really appreciate you for inviting me, and I hope your viewers we were able to cover the questions they had. And God bless you. I think you're doing a fantastic job. Yeah, have a happy life.
Thank you so much, sir. It means a
Okay,
lot to me.
I'll
Yes.
see you guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Take care.